Hey guys, long time no see. It is 7-Eleven, and here making another vlog. So this will be on my personal channel. I made a video today talking about emotional intelligence and emotional logic. Actually, emotional logic. We'll talk about emotional intelligence and emotional maturity, I think, in another video. But I just wanted to talk today just because I needed to make a video. I needed to make something. This has been a really challenging week for me emotionally because I think I made a lot of progress just in terms of stepping into my goals and everything, but not quite what I would like externally in the physical world. Internally, though, I'm feeling a lot of growth actually, but it's been uncomfortable because I'm getting better at processing more positive emotions and realizing what is going on. And it was interesting. There's this one girl I've been kind of sweet on. I think I made a video about her. She's this girl that works at this ice cream store, and I bumped into her today. And I had a goal to have a date this week, but it didn't look like it was going to happen. And we were hanging out, and it happened. And I realized, like, oh shit, universe gave me what I wanted, right? And I realized, like, just kind of putting my heart out there and things, that I have to keep my heart open. And I realized that after everything that had happened earlier this week, because I'd argued with these stupid girls online. They hurt my feelings, and I was like, oh man, I gotta shut down. But I started realizing, like, no, I gotta keep my heart open. And it was interesting because a couple things happened today that would normally kind of make me upset, and I wasn't upset. And there's a part of me that was like trying to be upset. But even after, I remember this one girl, she said something to me. We were on a date, and she was like, I don't feel anything. And she was like, I don't like you. I don't feel anything. And like, it was interesting because I could literally see her nervous system like regulating. You know what I mean? Like, I realized, I was like, she feels safe right now and she feels vulnerable. And for her, she doesn't quite know how to equate that safety with attraction. And I'd realized that, and I just saw it there, and I was like, is it my job to tell her that, though? And I remember just thinking and seeing it and realizing, like, she feels safe right now, and she doesn't realize she feels safe. And that's when I realized, I was like, she's got to have experiences where she realizes, she's got to have experiences, because she doesn't have the context. Because right now she's like, thinks this anxiety is attraction, like, oh, my body. And it was funny because she was talking about her body and things. I was like, you feel safe right now, but she doesn't even know it. And a part of me was like, okay, do I sit here? Do I kind of explain it? And I was thinking about the reasoning, and I just was like, we could go dip down and we could have this conversation. But I'd realized we'd already moved so far up the scale, because she was, open to talking with me and had facilitated something, because I was in there. And then she'd said, like, she wanted to go for a walk, and she invited me. So I was like, okay, cool. She was still, kind of in her no land. But it's very interesting. Like, I'm starting to realize, like, oh, you really do attack, like, kind of where your vibration is at. And it's not to say, like, she was necessarily dipping me down or whatever. And I was realizing, like, we were mostly kind of hanging up and being kind of like, she had kind of fallen into that frame or whatever. But I realized what had happened was, when we were both well and we were driving and she was kind of accepting it, we were both in this right vibe. But then she went back into her old vibration. And that's when I started realizing, I was like, oh, like, you're always going to have to fight or compete with people's old vibration. And I just started realizing, like, I'm competing with my old vibration. And I realized that I was like, I'm starting to fight her vibration. And that's when I started realizing, I was like, I'm trying to change the old way she's thinking. She was in a paradigm with me, and she's in this old paradigm, but she hasn't picked that yet. And I realized, like, I hadn't picked that. And I was starting to realize, like, oh, there's still parts of me that is choosing my old way of life, And I know what I need to do. I need to record my videos. Like there's all these action lists that I need to do. But I realized, I was like, have I emotionally chosen to feel good in my old life? And there's a lot of times when like I don't play video games, or I don't do the things that I like, watch movies. I don't allow myself to feel good because I kind of want this release. And when opportunities come, I'm always like, well, know this. And I'm kind of being really picky and choosy. And I started realizing like, oh, I can't expect to instruct her if I don't learn to allow things. And I started realizing like with her lesson, like I was kind of pushing against it and kind of trying to talk with her and like cut through things and say things so I could see things as they were. And then we started getting to this really vulnerable place, and it was a very honest conversation. And I was like, she's got to get to a place where having these conversations means more to her than the fantasy in her head. But until that happens, like, that's what she's choosing. She's choosing this vibration. And it was very interesting because, like, there's just another guy, and it was just all this stuff. And I started realizing, I was like, oh, like, there's been times when I've been choosing this idea of something, this potential of something, rather than what is right in front of me. And I think it's being open to what's in front of me and being grateful for it, and allowing things that do work, and trusting things that don't won't necessarily affect me. And I think there was always this time when I just felt like I had to have this control. But it was interesting, like when I let her go, I was like, yeah, I don't feel like I have to control this, And I don't know. It was a weird day. It was a weird day because I started realizing like I don't necessarily process positive emotion as well as I need to, and I don't allow myself to feel it. And that was like a big thing. I was like, oh shoot, like I feel positive and I can feel good when I'm alone. But I realized in terms of actually sitting there, processing it and living with it, like I don't hold on to that as much as I need to. Like I don't allow it. I'll go or choose loneliness, or I'll choose the idea of wanting something. I'll choose something off in the distance rather than just sitting in my bliss. And I think because of that, I can get distracted by other things. Where even though I'm avoiding things, like there was this one person I saw, this influencer for Azerbaijan. I'm pretty sure it's this trans girl, and she goes and kind of throws herself at me or whatever. And I was like, at first I wanted to say no, and I was like, the lesson is to say no. But then when I was really looking at like my feelings, it was just so like, it felt like to say no was just too much effort. It was like, I don't even know. It just felt like it was easier just to say yes and see what happens versus say no. Because I was like, well, what about my dignity? What about my respect? And I didn't care about any of that. It's not that I was like not shameless. I guess I just didn't feel any shame. And like the end of the day, I'm kind of like an 8.1, 7.9, somewhere in there in my mood. And I think it was more just because I'm realizing like, oh, like I actually made progress today and things actually were moving in, and I don't know how to accept that. Like there's this part of me, and I'm realizing it's these little things like the no, or the things like I realized like a part of me is like, oh, this girl didn't give me her Instagram or whatever, but the real focus needs to be on like, she asked me to hang out and she saw me and we had this really vulnerable conversation, and like there was all this good stuff, and there was this one little thing at the end. But then when I look at all of that, I'm realizing like, wait, it's just like I know better. I'm like, she can say all what she wants, but that doesn't invalidate everything that I saw. You know what I mean? And like she was even talking about how much fun she was having on the date and how she was enjoying it. But I realized like I don't need to chase those experiences. I think I just need to know that I'm capable of having them, even with people who aren't choosing them. And then that's when I started realizing like, oh, I need to start choosing experiences like these, with the vulnerability, the da 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 da. But then when it was going into long term, she was like, no, 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 no. And I'm like, okay, what's the thing there? And I'm like, within the moment, I'm able to create moments or whatever. But in terms of creating something steadily, I'm not. And I started realizing, and I'm like, do I actually settle in into a routine where I ensure for the future my positive interactions? Or am I just kind of picking up positivity day by day? And I started realizing like I have to start proactively picking things that I know that I like and that are fun and good for me, and making it a point to experience those things. And that was a big breakthrough that I was like, okay, that's a big one. So as soon as I get the money for it, like next big paycheck I have, getting an assistant, also getting a PlayStation 5, and just choosing to enjoy my life. And that's what it is. It's like I'm just choosing it, and from now on, like, that's taking priority. And of course, if great opportunities come along, they come along, but just accepting them and just kind of appreciate them for them in the moment, and not needing more than that. Because I realized like today was a win. Like, it was really cool. I always wanted to go on a date with this girl, and I was able to. Part of me is thinking like I should have kissed her, but low key, it's just like a reasoning thing. My heart of hearts is telling me like if I had to try to do that, it would have been forceful, and I don't want to force anything. So I'm kind of glad. Yeah, I'm kind of glad I moved the way I did. And I guess I felt good. It felt good to be seen, not necessarily chosen, but seen. So it was a good day. I think I just need to let it be. Thus it is.